West Virginia with Statifying Football. This is week 3 for college football. These are the noonday games on Saturday. Starting out with an old rivalry, Nebraska and Oklahoma. Nebraska's coming off a 28-3 win over Buffalo. Adrian Martinez, 242 passing, 2 touchdowns, plus 112 rushing yards. Samori Toure, 2 catches, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They put up 516 yards of offense. Whereas Oklahoma did whatever they wanted against Western Carolina, 76-0. Spencer Rattler, 243, 5 touchdown passes. They put up 624 yards of offense. Defensively, they had 4 sacks and 3 turnovers. I think this could be a little bit closer than most people will expect, only because Oklahoma against Tulane. Now, Tulane seems to be a pretty good offense, but Oklahoma gave up a lot of yards and 35 points to Tulane. And Adrian Martinez is a really good dual threat quarterback. He could go off and run for 100 yards again and have a big passing day and maybe get an upset. I don't think so. I still think Oklahoma should win, and should win by a pretty decent amount, but maybe small upset alert there. All right, New Mexico and Texas A&M. New Mexico beat New Mexico State 34-25. Terry Wilson, 381 passing, 3 touchdowns. Bobby Cole, 107 rushing and a touchdown. Manny Logan Green, 7 catches, 106 and a touchdown. They had 559 yards of offense there. A&M had a very close win against Colorado. They only won 10-7 with like 2 minutes left. I think A&M probably loses 3 or 4 games this year. Zach Calzada came in because their starting quarterback got hurt. He was only 18 of 38 for 183 and a touchdown. This could be a little bit closer than people think, but I think A&M will bounce back enough to beat New Mexico pretty easily. If they don't, A&M fans should be worried. All right, Cincinnati and Indianapolis. Very interesting game here. Cincinnati, they beat Murray State 42-7, but they struggled in the first half with Murray State. It was only 14-0 at halftime. Desmond Ridder did finish with 243 passing and 2 touchdowns. Jerome Ford, 113 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Defensively, they forced 5 turnovers in that game, which allowed them to pull away. Indiana bounced back from a humiliating defeat to Iowa to beat Idaho 56-14. Penix, only 68 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 rushing. Stephen Carr ran for 118 and a touchdown. Defensively, they had a block punt return for a touchdown and just a regular punt return for a touchdown. This is interesting because Indiana, what team will we get from them? Will they be one of the best, the team that they were last year? Will they be the team that they faced against Iowa? Will Cincinnati struggle? If they struggle like they did against Murray State, Indiana has a decent enough offense to beat Cincinnati. I almost want to pull the upset. I'm definitely putting Cincinnati on upset alert, but I think Cincinnati will come out in the end with the win. I think Ridder might be the difference maker, the quarterback for Cincinnati. So I'm going to go Cincinnati with a close win there. All right, Virginia Tech and West Virginia. This should be a really good game. Virginia Tech beat Middle Tennessee State 35-14. Braxton Burmeister, 142 passing, a touchdown, plus 52 rushing. Defensively had 3 sacks. West Virginia did whatever they wanted against Long Island, beat them 66-0. Jared Dagey, 259 passing, 3 touchdowns. Defensively, only allowed 95 yards of offense and had a kick return for a touchdown. This will be a really close game, I think. Both defenses are pretty good. Both offenses are decent. I'm going to give Dagey the slight edge, the quarterback for West Virginia, a slight edge over Burmeister with Virginia Tech. So I'm going to go with West Virginia in a close win, which will be an upset then over Virginia Tech. All right, Coastal Carolina and Buffalo. Coastal Carolina destroyed Kansas 49-22. Grayson McCall, 245 and 2 touchdowns, plus 1 rushing. Reese White ran for 102 and 3 touchdowns. Javon Haley, 6 catches, 122 and a touchdown. Defensively, he had 6 sacks. Josiah Stewart had 3.5 sacks alone, and they had a block punt return for a touchdown. Buffalo lost to Nebraska 28-3. They really couldn't get much going. I don't think Buffalo is as strong a team as they were last year. Maybe if they can get Kevin Marks at running back going against Coastal Carolina, they can keep that offense off, but this may not be close. I'm gonna have Coastal Carolina winning kind of big. All right, another interesting non-conference game: Michigan State and Miami. Michigan State beat Youngstown State 42-14. Peyton Thorne, 280 and 4 touchdowns. Jordan Simmons, 121. Rushing. Jaden Reed, 4 catches, 181 and 2 touchdowns. They had 595 yards. Miami had a really close win against Appalachian State, 25-23. App State is a good team. Derek King was fine, 200 passing plus 79 rushing. They did have a safety there, Miami. I think this could be a really, really good, really close game. I think Derek King may be the difference maker in this game. Peyton Thorne has done well. Kenneth Walker, the running back for Michigan State, has shown pretty well. I think Miami may be the slight difference. This could be another upset, but I'll go Miami with a close win. All right, Northern Illinois and Michigan. Northern Illinois played an awesome game against Wyoming. They did lose, but they lost 50-43 after being down 20 in the fourth quarter. Rocky Lombardi, 233, 1 touchdown. The 3 interceptions is what cost them. Harrison Wadley, 179 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Michigan looked pretty decent against Washington, beat them 31-10. The quarterback was pretty terrible, 7 of 15 for 44 yards, but they had 2 guys rush for over 100 yards. Blake Corum, 171 and 3 touchdowns, and Hassan Haskins, 155 and a touchdown. Defensively, they had 4 sacks. I think they should be able to hold down Northern Illinois. And even without much of a quarterback play, those running backs should be able to run all over Northern Illinois, and Michigan should get a win. All right, UT Chattanooga and Kentucky. Kentucky won a close game against Missouri, 35-28. Will Levis, 179 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, plus 1 rushing. Chris Rodriguez, 206 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Wan'Dale Robinson is do-it-all, 5 catches, 101, plus he ran for 73. They put up 519 yards in that game. They should be able to beat Chattanooga. Southeast Missouri playing Missouri. Missouri lost that close game to Kentucky, 35-28. Connor Bazelak, 294 passing, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Tyler Beatty had a solid overall game. He only ran for 61 yards and had 10 catches for 88 and a touchdown. And they should not have any trouble with Southeast Missouri. Tennessee Tech and Tennessee. It was a great game against Pitt. They only lost 41-34. Milton started. He passed for 50 yards and then ran for 54. He got hurt. Hendon Hooker played pretty well and came in, passed for 188, 2 touchdowns and a pick, and ran for 49. They moved it well on offense, and they should be able to take care of Tennessee Tech. All right, Western Michigan and Pittsburgh. Western Michigan beat Illinois State 28-0. Caleb Ellaby, 174 passing and a touchdown. Ladarius Jefferson, 106 rushing and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, only allowed 57 total yards and had 4 sacks in that game. Pitt had a really good win against Tennessee, 41-34. Kenny Pickett, 285 passing, 2 touchdowns, plus 1 rushing. Taysir Mack, 4 catches, 100 yards. Defensively, had 5 sacks in that game. Western Michigan could maybe keep it close a little bit, but I think Pitt might be too much for them to keep up with. So we got Pitt beating Western Michigan. All right, Albany and Syracuse. Syracuse did not look good against Rutgers. They lost 17-7. DeVito, 149 passing and a touchdown. Taj Harris was pretty much all they had on offense. 8 catches, 1-22. They turned it over 5 times in that game. Defensively, they did have 4 sacks and only allowed 195 yards to Rutgers, but those 5 turnovers is what did them in. They should be able to at least bounce back and get a win against Albany. All right, Boston College and Temple. Boston College beat UMass 45-28. They let UMass hang around a little too much, though. Phil Jakovic, he was hurt. We'll see if he plays. Dennis Grosso was fine. 199 passing, 1 touchdown, and one rushing. Patrick Garwo ran for 160 yards. Defensively, they forced 3 turnovers, had a fumble return for a touchdown, and a kick return for a touchdown. Temple finally woke up and beat Akron like they should, 45-24. Justin Lynch passed for 245 and 2 touchdowns, plus 34 rushing and a touchdown. Rando Jones went off, 7 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, a fumble return for a touchdown, and a pick 6 in that game. This could be a little bit closer than what people were thinking. Boston College did let UMass hang around a little bit. Temple seemed to wake up some. Let's see if that Justin Lynch quarterback, if he plays well. I'm going to go Boston College here, but this, like I said, this may be closer than what people expect. All right, UConn and Army. UConn, they got destroyed by Purdue 49-0. They didn't really do anything offensively, nothing to speak of. Army had a really nice win against Western Kentucky, 38-35. It was a fun game to watch. Christian Anderson, 77 passing yards and a touchdown, plus 119 rushing. The triple option went off for 339 rushing yards, and defensively had 3 sacks. I don't think this will be close. Army looks to be a really good team, and UConn is in the midst of all kinds of struggles. So I think Army wins, and I mean, Army's picked by 33, and they may very well win by that much. Minnesota and Colorado, this will be a really interesting game. Minnesota only beat Miami of Ohio 31-26. Tanner Morgan was pretty bad accuracy-wise, 8 of 17. He did go for 2 touchdowns, though. Trayson Potts went off for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Colorado barely lost to Texas A&M 10-7. Brendan Lewis, 89 passing yards plus 76 rushing yards. I really want to go with Colorado here. I think Colorado should have beat, I feel like, was better than Texas A&M. Minnesota, I mean, they played well against Ohio State, kind of struggled against a pretty good MAC team in Miami of Ohio. Minnesota does have to travel to Colorado. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'll go with Minnesota. I'm just gonna say the quarterback play will be the difference. Colorado's got a really good running back in Jarek Broussard. Tanner Morgan, though, a quarterback for Minnesota is better than what Colorado has currently at quarterback. All right, Nevada, Kansas State should be a good game. Nevada 49-10 win over Idaho State. Carson Strong 381 and 4 touchdowns. Towatal 103 rushing yards, 581 yards of offense. Defensively, they had 8 sacks in the game. Tristan Nichols had 3 alone, and they had a fumble return for a touchdown. Kansas State struggled with Southern Illinois only won 31-23. Both their quarterbacks kind of sucked. Skylar Thompson, 96 passing yards and a pick. Will Howard, 8 of 17 for 76 yards and a pick. He did run for a touchdown. They had 4 turnovers in that game. Deuce Vaughn ran for 120 and 3 touchdowns. Malik Knowles, 4 catches, 112. Defensively, had 5 sacks. Felix Anudike Uzoma had 3 sacks. They forced 3 turnovers. If their defense can hold serve against a really strong Nevada offense, Kansas State can win. I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Nevada. I'm going to say Nevada gets a nice win and moves to 3-0 against a Big 12 team. All right, and then the final game for the noon games, Purdue and Notre Dame. Purdue destroyed UConn 49-0. Jack Plummer, 245 passing and 4 touchdowns. Aiden O'Connell, 86 passing yards but 2 touchdowns. David Bell, 6 catches, 121 yards and 3 touchdowns. They put up 562 yards of offense. Whereas Notre Dame struggled and barely beat Toledo 32-29. Jack Cohn, 239 passing, 2 touchdowns. They had 3 turnovers in that game. Defensively, they had 5 sacks. I'm gonna pull this upset. I'm gonna say Purdue upsets Notre Dame here on Saturday. All right, those are my picks for my noon games. Check out my other videos. Peace.